All right, this is Dustin Sheevy, Craig, a math teacher for Math 1. Today we're doing some word problems for systems of equations. So I got a little, I'm going to guess the number from my wife. All right, so this is my wife.
Hi, everybody.
All right, so here's your job. You got to come up with two whole numbers. Think of two different whole numbers.
Okay.
Could be double digits, could be single digits.
Okay.
All right, and I need you to add them together. Okay, in your mind. Add those two digits, so they could be any two digits.
Okay.
You got them added together?
I got it.
Okay, all right. What number did you get?
I got 7.
So you got 7 when you added them together. Wow, that's... Okay, what happens when you subtract the same two? If you take the same two and subtract them, what's the total?
And you're not making a negative number?
No, you can make a negative number.
Well, should I make a negative?
Sure.
Okay, so we'll make -1.
Okay, -1. All right. Okay, so the first one was a 3, the second one was a 4.
That is correct.
Yes! Man, I'm telling you guys, I am good, or am I good? All right, let's go check out the numbers, all right? All right, guys, back to the lab, the math lab. So how does this magic trick work? Now, this works for anything, any numbers. If you want to try this at home today, go on, ask somebody to think of two different numbers. And obviously, the smaller numbers, the easier it is. But yeah, you should be able to do this. So basically, here's the thing. And I set this example up here. The first number, you don't know what they're thinking. The second number, you don't know what they're thinking in their head. Now, my wife, she said the first one was 7. Okay, so when she added the two numbers together, they were 7. Now, when she subtracted the two numbers together, she got, what was it, a -1, right? I believe. Okay. So those were the two numbers. Now, if you remember right, I said 4 and 7. Now, can you think of that really, or sorry, 4 and 3? Can you think of that really quick? I don't know. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But anyways, so in this scenario, you guys know how to eliminate. I would just eliminate really fast. And this is what I'm doing in my head. I am adding these together. So those cancel out. So I'm left with literally 2x equals 6, right? And then I divide by 2 in my head. So I divide by 2 in my head, and I know x equals 3. All right, so I'm doing all of that in my head real fast. Basically, I'm adding 7 and -1. So I add them together, 6, right? And then I divide 6 by 2. I know that's what I'm going to have to do. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. That's not too hard, right? Add them together, divide by 2. And so 3 is one number. Well, if one number is 3 and they both add to 7, that means, therefore, the other number has to be 4, right? And so y equals 4. So give that one a try, maybe, while you're stuck in the house. Hey? Yeah? Yeah. All right. Okay. So like I said today, we are going to be doing some story problems in real life scenarios, because I know you guys are always like, when am I going to do this? Well, today. Today you're going to do this. All right, so here we go. First scenario. I got 3 for you today. 3. All right. At the school store, Ricardo bought 4 pencils and 6 erasers and spent $2.60. Annabelle bought 4 pencils and 10 erasers and spent $3.80. Solve the systems of equations to determine the cost of one pencil and the cost of an eraser. All right, so can you guys see how there are, with an equation, sorry, step back, systems, you need to have 2 equations, right? Can you see where there are 2 equations in the story problem, right? Well, Ricardo is one situation, and Annabelle is the other. No, it's not the scary Annabelle, all right? Not that I know of. Who knows? Maybe she'll use those pencils for... okay, never mind. All right, so Ricardo bought 4 pencils. Do we know how much a pencil costs? Oh, no, that's my question, right? I want to know the cost of a pencil. So I don't know what the cost for that pencil is, so I'm just going to go 4p. And then he also got 6 erasers, so 6 E's, right? So 6p, or 4p, 6 E's, and that totaled $2.60. Now, also, guys, another thing. In real world, we don't get whole numbers, right? We get decimals and fractions. So don't be afraid if you get a decimal or a fraction. Okay, the next equation. Let's take a look at Annabelle. All right, Annabelle, she bought 4 pencils. And 10 erasers. 10 erasers. And she spent $380. All right. Check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. I need to figure out, I need to solve for P. I need to solve for E. Who knows? Maybe we'll only do 2. We'll see. All right. Well, one thing I noticed is that these P's are the same. I can't add them together, though. If I add them together, I'm going to get 8P, right? So I'm going to do something a little crazy. All right? Okay. If I multiply everything by a negative down here, I can make these all negative values. Right? If I multiply that by a negative, as long as I multiply everything by a negative, it still equals each other. Okay? So now I can add them together. If you don't like to multiply by a negative, you can always just subtract. I'm going to multiply by a negative, so it made everything on this bottom one negative. Now, when I add these together, these cancel. I'm left with 4 negative 4e's. And that totals negative 120, I believe. All right, we're going to keep cruising along. Now I can divide by a negative 4. Divide by a negative 4. All right, and I think an E, or an eraser, is, well, that's going to be positive, I think 30. It's going to be a positive 30, which means, or 0.3, which means it is 30 cents, ladies and gentlemen. Would you guys agree? An eraser is 30 cents, so how much does a pencil cost? Well, if I know eraser is 30 cents, I can come right up here and I say, oh, well, 6 30s is $1.80. Right? I'm just using this equation up here. I just plugged in my eraser. All right. I got 4 P's plus that $1.80 is going to be $1.60. All right. Well, I'm going to subtract 180. Subtract 180. Now, some of you guys might already have thought it in your head how much a pencil costs. Great job if you did. I got 4P equals, oh, what is that? Let's go, is it 80 cents? Okay, so when I divide by 4 and I divide by 4, I got P equals 20. So it should cost about 20 cents for a pencil. All right, there we go. I figured it out. Erasers cost 30 cents. Pencils cost 20 cents. Take a look at that. Would you look at me now? All right, let's do another one. Let's set up another equation. All right, Franklin and Marianne sell gourmet cakes for a fundraiser. Franklin sells 2 large cakes, 6 small cakes for $190. Another good thing about story problems, I always think of the total. Look for the total. So I know this whole thing is going to equal 190, right? It's going to equal 190. All right, so 2 large plus 6 small. All right, next one. Marianne sells 2 large, so she sells 2 large as well. That's great. And 3 small. And she makes $130. Find the cost of each small cake. Just the small cakes. All right. I guess that's what the question asks. So I could do one of 2 things. I could multiply one of these by a negative. Should I just multiply that whole thing by a negative 1? So that gives me negative 2L minus 3S equals a negative 130. Okay, that's the exact same thing, because if I multiply everything by the same number, same thing, then I can erase that. Okay, because that's the same thing as the one in red. Now I can add them together. Right, because I have a positive 2L and a negative 2L, and if I add those together, they're gone. And I'm left with 6S minus 3S, that's 3S, equals 60, I believe. All right, that's an S. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. All right, so I have an S, which would be a small cake, is 20 bucks. Man, this is just lovely, isn't it? All right, and this question did only say, find me the cost of a small cake. So it costs 20 bucks. All right, I think we got time for one more. You guys all want to see one more example anyways, don't you? Don't you know there? No? Hey, 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 hey. Oh, good night there. Good night, Moon. Chanel and Chris went to the coffee shop to buy some breakfast for their office. Chanel ordered 4 bagels, 3 muffins, and paid $10.86. So 4 B's. All right. Plus 3 muffins. So glad that they don't have the same starting letter. I can go B and M. Oh no, BM. 1086. 1086. All right. Now Chris. All right. Chris got 4 bagels. All right. Same as Chanel. 6 muffins. And paid $14.16. All right. Now, once again, these are the same. If I just added them together right now, that would be 8 B's. So really what I want to do is I really want to make this an all negatives. Just give it all a negative to everything. So it's really a negative 4B minus 6M equals a negative 14.16. All right, so I made everything the opposite. So I can erase that. Now, when I add them together, those cancel. Sorry, let's add them together. I'm going to be left with negative 3M, right? Because 3 plus a negative 6 is negative 3. And that's going to give me a negative, oh boy, calculator time. So let's go 10.86 plus negative 14.16. I got negative 3.3. All right. Divide by a negative 3. Divide by a negative 3. So M equals 1.1. So that's M. That's a muffin. I don't even care about a muffin. I didn't even see that. It says, what's the cost of a bagel? Who cares about muffins? All right. So if a muffin costs 1.1, so then let's just take a look at this. I'm going to use this top equation. So I know 4 bagels. I'm just going to reuse this. Plus 3 muffins. Well, 3 muffins, would you guys agree, would be $3.30. If a muffin is $1.10. Equals 10.86. All right. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so I figured out how much the muffin was. Then I'm going to minus 3.3. If you want to go 3.30, same thing. So 4 bagels would cost me, oh, for crying out loud, $7.56. Okay, that's a 7. When I divide by 4, divide that by 4, 7.56, clear, 7.56, divided by 4 equals a bagel costs me about $1.89. About $1.89. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure and an honor to teach you how to do some story problems with systems of equations. Till next time, guys. Bye.